And in studio, we have Evette with us, and you are with the Water District, correct?
Oh, city's water department, yes.
The city's water department.
Yes.
And is there anything more specific than that? Like, what is your role with the department?
My role is assistant water director. However, I oversee the wastewater division. So the water department, water resources, wastewater division.
Okay, and today we're going to talk about wastewater.
Correct.
Right, because it's something that people do every day,
Yes.
but they don't think about it every day.
No, not most people know.
Right, because
Yeah.
I mean, everybody uses the bathroom and then they use the toilet, they flush it, but then you don't really give it a second
That's it.
thought.
Out of sight, out of mind.
But you guys need to give it a second thought, and quite
yes.
often a lot more thought than just a passing thought.
Correct. Yes.
So what we're going to talk about is understanding the sewer system, and I know we've got a couple of slides that we're going to go through here right now.
Yes.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look through them.
Let's go ahead. So understanding the city's sewer system. Quick overview just of everything that we do. So as we mentioned, usually people don't think about anything once they use the toilet. So starting off, what is wastewater? Wastewater is everything that makes its way down the drain. So if you brush your teeth, wash some dishes, shower, use the toilet, do a load of laundry, absolutely everything is wastewater.
Okay.
Makes its way down the drain. So what happens after you do any of those things in your home? We have a sewer collection system. It's a system of pipes underneath our streets that we really don't think about. The City of Bakersfield has over 1,100 miles of sewer pipe. All of that makes up our collection sewer system. So you flush your toilet, it makes its way into the collection sewer system. We try to have wastewater flow by gravity. It's a large volume.
Right, it's the easiest thing to do.
Easiest thing, flow by gravity, but eventually it gets to a low point. Every part where it gets to a low point, we have a lift station. Pumps it up to an elevation that once again, it can flow by gravity to the next low point. Wastewater keeps doing this, lift station, high point, low point, all the way until it makes it to one of two treatment plants that the city has.
Okay.
So city has 1,100 miles of sewer pipe, 56 sewer lift stations, 2 wastewater treatment plants. One thing to note, it's wastewater, but we also deal with stormwater. Some cities have combined systems. Wastewater and stormwater make its way down the same pipes to the same locations. We do not have that. So in addition to the 1,100 miles of sewer pipe, we also have about 1,000 miles of storm drain pipe.
And people might get confused about that because
Yes.
we don't have storms here in Kern County a
Correct.
lot, but it's always water runoff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we also have that system to look after. But again, we have separate. So looking into wastewater basics, what is wastewater treatment? We typically look at 2 components, the flow, the liquid portion, and the organics or the solids. Treatment in our facilities have a primary, secondary, and tertiary treatment.
Okay.
Primary is basically we're trying to get rid of all, the first step is screenings. There's a lot of things that make its way down the drain that really don't belong there. Plastic products, flushable wipes that really are not flushable.
Right, and they say on the package, please
Correct.
do not flush and
Yes.
things like that, and a lot of businesses also state that.
Exactly, and then there's some other random things that make their way down into the storm drains, more through the manholes, but we get tires or blankets or large toys. All of those items we need to get
Kids
them.
have fun when they discover the toilet and drains and what
It's
can go down
amazing
there
what
and
they
things
send
like
out.
that.
Yeah, so all of that we try to screen out at the beginning so it doesn't damage the equipment downstream. Then we go into grit removal. That's more of like eggshells or pieces of sand that
Yeah,
make their
we
way.
can see that on the flow chart that you've
Absolutely,
got there.
yes. And then we have primary clarification. This is the first step where now we're getting rid of some of the organics that do belong in the system, but they're organics, they're solids, and we are trying to remove them.
Okay.
From there, aeration tank. This is part of our secondary treatment. It's where we start doing the biological treatment. Into the secondary clarification tank. So all of the steps really are just, we're trying to separate the solids and the liquids at every step, and increasingly more so. Our tertiary system, our tertiary treatment, that is a final filtration step, and then there's a disinfection. So once it goes through the tertiary treatment, we have now produced reclaimed water or purple pipes, so it can be used to irrigate landscape at that point. If we just kind of stop at the secondary, which some of our processes do, it's used to percolate back into the groundwater or for agricultural irrigation.
Okay.
So different types of use. And then as we mentioned, the solids. So every step we have removed, try to separate. Our solids go into sludge digesters, which are basically huge concrete structures that get heated up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit and get digested for about 15 to 21 days. The end product, it kind of looks like, what's
Sludge?
Not sludge. I'm drawing up fertilizer. Sorry.
Okay.
Fertilizer. It kind of looks like fertilizer
Okay.
at the end, and then it's land applied to city-owned farm fields. So everything has a beneficial use one way or the other. Just a quick overview of our system. This is all the colored portions on this map. All of that gets treated by the City of Bakersfield. Right here indicated in the square, that is our Plant 2 treatment plant. Plant 2 was initially built in 1939 and has had 3 major expansions. It's currently a trickling filter treatment process.
Okay.
Here we're comparing the design criteria. So we try to keep track of the liquid and the organics or the solids. Flow, it's designed for 25 MGD, million gallons per day. If you want to visualize that, 1 million gallons of water, picture yourself in the middle of a football field. Picture that football field with 2.5 feet of water. That is 1 million
That's 1
gallons.
million. And you've got 25,
We've got 25.
able to go through. Okay.
Suspended solids. It was designed for 327 milligrams per liter. Sorry, but where'd it go? 327 milligrams per liter. Biochemical oxygen band, 251. Our actuals, we're doing pretty good on flow, but our organics, our solids loading, it's higher than it was designed for. So that
Right,
is a
which
bit
is
of
why
a turn.
things need to be fixed and updated because we
Absolutely.
can see if we take a look at the dates when they had expansions, it's
Yeah.
been quite a while since the last one.
And it usually takes a while between when a technology is developed and when it's implemented. So trickling filters were really a high point in around the 70s. But as you can see, we went ahead and introduced it. I'm sorry, I keep doing this. Introduced it in '97, so it was already a little bit behind. I don't know.
You got the
this keeps
magic
going
touch, Evette. Every
forward.
time you hit that, we go back in time a little
Is
bit.
it the
See?
touchscreen? Oh my gosh. Okay, that's what it is. Here's an overview of just sort of the layout of Plant 2. This is our headworks, it flows, and these are our trickling filters. That's the technology and secondary clarifiers. So everything flows through. Going on to Plant 3, again, this is our service area. Plant 3 is everything on basically the west side of the 99. A little different story with Plant 3. It was built in 1970, has had 4 major expansions, the last one being in 2007. Here we have an activated sludge treatment process. So a lot newer technology compared to Plant 2. You see the design criteria, it's a little larger, 32 MGD with 333 total suspended solids concentration, 500 BOD. So our actuals were pretty good on the solids, but here a different story. It's the flow that's a bit of a concern. We're at 21.2, which is roughly about 66% of the design capacity.
Okay.
Once we hit 70% of capacity, we need to really look at an expansion.
Right, what's going because you don't want to get it past that because that's
Exactly.
when problems start happening more.
Yes.
Okay.
And then just a final look. This is a much larger footprint than our Plant 2. You can see this is just the first half of the treatment process. It didn't all really fit into one photo. So that really is sort of a summary of what is wastewater in our treatment process for the City of Bakersfield.
Well, fascinating because a lot of that stuff is going on, and I know it's been in the news pretty recently and things like that. So anyway, Evette, I know that you would love to do a lot of the math problems that go along with that, but I
Yes.
know you brought a colleague in.
I
We're going to have
did. I
him do
wanted
some
to
of those
spread the fun.
math problems a little bit later on. But Evette, thank you for coming in.
Thank you so
We'll
much.
be back with more right after this. In studio, we have Aaron with us, and he's with the Water District also. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
So what is your role with the Water District?
So I am the wastewater treatment superintendent, and I'm pretty much in charge of making sure that both of the city's wastewater treatment plants are treating and cleaning the water so that it goes back into the environment.
Okay, so Evette talked to us a little bit about that whole process.
Correct.
Where they are, what kind of things go into wastewater, what they do with it, things like that, how it's treated. But you're the one that makes sure that it all gets done.
Correct.
And how long have you been doing this?
So I've been a wastewater superintendent for 2 years or 3 years almost, and I've been in wastewater for about 11 years or 12 years.
Okay, so what are some of the other like entry-level positions, I guess?
So we do have wastewater treatment operators, and I mean we make them start anywhere from operator in training all the way to grade 3 operators.
Okay.
So,
And they're the 2 plants right now,
correct.
and those are the ones you're in charge of.
Yes,
All
the
right.
treatment part of it.
Treatment.
Yeah.
All right. And Evette really wanted to do a lot of the math problems here, but we said that we were going to let you take care of this part. So Aaron, why don't you go over and we're going to talk a little bit about the mathematics behind the treatment.
Okay, so pretty much we have this problem here where we figure out detention time because in a primary clarifier, which this is the flow chart. So in a primary clarifier, what we try to do is slow down the water so that it can settle, the heavy material can settle, and the cleaner water can keep going to the next part
Okay,
of
so
the
you're talking
process.
about slowing down the water. So how
Correct.
fast was it going up to that point?
Well, it depends on our pumps, but usually in the sewer system, it's going about 2 feet per second, and usually we slow it down to about 1 foot per second.
Okay.
Yeah. So in this, for example, in this problem, so we have wastewater plant 3 has 4 primary clarifiers that together receive about 11.5 million gallons per day. Currently, only 2 of the clarifiers are in operation. Each clarifier has a diameter of 80 feet and a depth of 15.7 feet. So to calculate the detention time, we're only going to do it for 2 clarifiers because that's what we're using. And just a quick note, a typical primary clarifier detention time ranges from 1.5 hours to 2.5 hours. And so the first thing we have to do is figure out the volume. So to figure out the volume, we take the constant 0.785, which comes from pi r squared. But I mean, since we get diameter in most of our specs, we use 0.785. And then we multiply that times our diameter squared times our height. So if we multiply 0.785 times 80 feet, which is our diameter, and we square that, and then we also multiply it times the height or the depth of the clarifier, we get 78,848 cubic feet per clarifier.
Okay, and we can see because it's a cylinder shape.
Correct.
Right, and 2 of the numbers are already given to you in the problem, right?
Yes.
You've got the 80 feet for the diameter and the depth of 15.7 feet. And then you're just using that other number that you got from pi,
Yeah.
using that, multiplying all of those according to the formula to come up the final volume.
Correct. Yeah, and since we have 2 clarifiers, we're going to multiply our cubic feet by 2, which will give us 157,696 cubic feet. And that, that's cubic feet, so we need gallons of water.
Okay.
So in order to convert it, there's 7.48 gallons of water in 1 cubic feet. So we'll multiply the cubic feet times the 7.48 gallons per cubic feet, which would give us a volume of 1,179,524 gallons. So then we can plug that into our detention time formula, which is volume divided by flow. So we'll have 1,179,524 gallons of volume in the clarifier, and our flow coming in to the plant or to those clarifiers is we'll divide it by 11.5 million gallons per day, and we'll multiply it by 24 hours per day to get it in hours. So if we do all that, we're going to end up with 2.46 hours. So, and that falls in between the detention time ranges.
Yeah, and when you get to that a little over 1 million gallons, when you're converting the cubic feet to gallons, when Evette was talking about cubic feet of water, that's when she was talking about if you're on a football field and having it up a couple of feet, right?
Yeah, the million gallons would be the...
Right, 1 million gallons. So
Yeah.
that's the amount that you're converting that to as far as
Correct.
getting cubic feet to gallons. And a
Yes.
lot of times that's one of the parts that I think a lot of students get confused with. It's like, how do I get it from cubic feet to gallons? But that's what step 3 is
Yes.
showing right there, converting that.
Correct. Yeah. So
Yeah, nicely done. So we can see down on the flow chart again, the clarifiers, and those are the cylinders, and which is why we need to figure out the volume of those, and that's the formula for doing those.
Yeah, and just by slowing down the water, I mean, you remove like 90 to 95% of the settleable solids, and about half of the suspended solids, which are the solids that don't settle, and about half or a third of the organic material.
All right.
So, I mean, just by slowing down the water, you get a lot cleaner water to go into the next process.
All right, well, Aaron, come on back over here. I know that was a great explanation of some of the math behind treating that water right there. Now, as far as, because you guys have been in the news a lot, so tell us a little bit about the expansion that's going on.
Well, the expansion, well, both of our plants are, or plant 2 it has a lot of aging infrastructure.
Okay.
So that one kind of needs an upgrade. The expansion would be for plant 3, which is getting close. It's about 75% of its capacity. So at that point, we have to start planning to expand and to, so that we can treat that flow.
Right, because you don't want more than 75%, right?
Well, by the time you you get done with expansion, you're going to be up there at 100%.
And that's
We don't want
why you
that.
need to be doing that,
Correct,
right?
yeah.
All right, so I know everything's going on with the expansions and things like that. If somebody wanted to know a little bit more, website they can go to, the city website?
The city Bakersfield City.us.
All right, so it's up on the board right there, so we can see that. So there's times people go, hey, what's the phone number for Do the Math? And after being here for almost 25 years, sometimes I'm like, I know it's 636, something like that. But anyway, Aaron, thank you very much for coming
you,
in
Brian.
today. And a little bit about the math right there and wastewater and things like that. We'll be back with more right after this.